Hey guys, once more you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Clinton Achiri is my name. You can call me C-GRAPHIX. In today's video, we are handling graphics designs in general. That's why I titled it Getting Started with Graphic Designs. You know, many people admire graphic designs a lot. I mean, when a graphic designer does a flyer, a poster, a logo, or something, it's so beautiful and you feel like, wow, how I wish I could do this. Now, this video is for you. I made this video for absolute beginners. You don't need to be a pro. You don't need to know anything in graphic designs. That's why I titled Getting Started with Graphic Design. So it's for absolute beginners. So I'm going to be giving us the various softwares involved, their differences, why you should go for which. I mean, there are so many softwares out there for graphic design, so many. But those I'm going to be explaining in this video are those I consider as the kings of graphic designs, because I mean, they are so powerful. Most graphic designers across the world, they use these various softwares. I mean, wherever in Europe, in America, and so on. So they are really powerful and good, and I can always recommend them to you. So before we dive deep into our video, I would like you to hit the like button at the bottom of your screen, and the subscription button, and the notification bell as well, so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And why not share the video at the end after you've learned something, so that your friends can also learn. So let's get started. Number one, Photoshop. Yes, this is the icon. This is the icon of Photoshop. Photoshop is a pretty good software made for picture manipulation. Yes, mostly made for picture related stuffs. And here we have Adobe Illustrator. This is the icon for Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator has been made to handle vector. I'm going to explain what vector graphics are all about. And next we have Adobe InDesign. InDesign, this is a desktop publishing software. I mean, you can use it to create amazing books, amazing magazines, and so on. And last on our list is CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is a vector graphic software. So let's get started with Photoshop. So as you can see, here is the Photoshop interface. My version is version CC17, but any version of Photoshop from CS6, I guess, and above should have this kind of interface. But guys, I will always advise you to go for recent softwares. Yes, avoid going for outdated softwares. Like for instance, this is Photoshop CC17. Now, we already have Photoshop CC20, 20, and so on. I mean, we already have more recent and advanced Photoshops. So you who want to get started with Photoshop, I will recommend that you get from 17 and above. Don't go for Photoshop 7. I mean, they are very limited, you see. But these recent versions have a lot of things that have been facilitated for you. It spares your time, it spares you from stress, and so on. So this is our Photoshop interface. I'm going to do another video handling Photoshop alone, so don't bother yourself, but just see how the interface looks like. And now we have Illustrator. So what is Adobe Illustrator? Adobe Illustrator is a program, a software that's been created to handle vector, just as I said earlier. So vectors are shapes, you know, anything that has to do with lines are vectors, 2 points. So let's say geometry. So you can create stunning flyers on Adobe Illustrator, stunning banners, billboard, roll-ups, and so on. Same with CorelDRAW. They are all vector graphic softwares because they deal with shapes. They deal with images. They deal mostly with shapes and so on. And you can create wonderful graphics with them. Now, let's see the interface of InDesign. Good. This is Adobe InDesign. Adobe InDesign is a software created to handle text in particular. So you see all the stunning magazines you find out there, the books, the brochures, and so on. They are all created with Adobe InDesign. So now that we have seen the softwares, we have seen their interfaces, we have seen how they look like, what are their differences. The difference between Photoshop and Illustrator, or let's say the difference between raster or bitmap softwares and vector graphics softwares, is that vector graphics softwares can handle large-scale designs. So it's a kind of advantage. I can create a design of about 10 meters square on CorelDRAW. I can create a billboard that can be pasted on a very large wall. So Photoshop vector graphics softwares can handle large-scale designs. So me, C-GRAPHIX, whenever I have things to handle, when I have projects such as billboards, as banners, as roll-ups, or in fact anything large scale, backdrops, event backdrops, I always use CorelDRAW. Yeah, I use CorelDRAW. You either use CorelDRAW for that, or you use Adobe Illustrator. But when it now comes to image related things like photo manipulation, that is when I go to Photoshop. When it comes to small scale designs such as flyers, let's say small posters, logos, and so on, I go to Photoshop, because I believe Photoshop is just so amazing. You know, the coloring, everything is, it's just so amazing for me. So I create a lot of flyers on Photoshop and so on. Most of my jobs are done with Photoshop. Yes, especially the small scale jobs. The only large scale jobs I manage at times to do on Photoshop are roll-ups and banner, even though I would not really advise you to use Photoshop for that, but you can use Photoshop for that. The only thing is that it's going to create you more, it's going to take more of your disk space. So in other words, Photoshop, if you create a large scale file on Photoshop, it will be too heavy. If I do maybe a 10 meter square banner or backdrop on Photoshop, don't be surprised to have it up to a size of 5 gigabytes. That's enough space on your hard drive. But if I use CorelDRAW, it will be just about 10 megabytes in size. Yes. So that is it. So those are the differences and their advantages. Photoshop can handle small scale designs and make them very beautiful photo manipulation, while Corel cannot do photo manipulation. CorelDRAW cannot do photo manipulation. Adobe Illustrator cannot do photo manipulation, and so on. But they are good in large scale designs, you see. So those are their differences, and in other words, their advantages and disadvantages. So me, C-GRAPHIX, whenever I'm faced with a flyer, I go to Photoshop. Whenever I'm faced with a banner, a backdrop or something, I go to CorelDRAW or Illustrator. So guys, Photoshop, as I said, is mostly made for images. That's why it's called a bitmap software, because it deals with pixels. Yeah, some little squares that make up an image. You see, these are the squares that make up this image. Let me zoom. Let me scroll up to an image so that you see how the image suddenly becomes like squares. Those are the pixels. If you purchase a camera or maybe a mobile phone and they tell you this mobile phone, the camera of this mobile phone is 14 megapixels, it's simply telling you that, hey, if you capture a shot with that camera, the image it produces will have that number of pixels. That's just the meaning. So Photoshop is the king of pixels related affairs, and Illustrator or CorelDRAW is the king of vector affairs, something that has to do with lines, you see. So for instance, I can draw a shape, manipulate it the way I want, manipulate it, maybe change it into a curve and so on. This is a vector software, right? So it gives you all the privileges to twist any vector the way you want, you see. Why Photoshop, will give you all the privileges you need to twist any image the way you want. So guys, that's the most basic way I can put it. Yes, but if you want to really go advanced, then there are other videos to handle that. But in this video, it's just for the basics, you know, to help people who are trying to get started. So that's it, guys. So you see, I made this image to portray the differences that a bitmap graphic looks like squares that have just come together when you zoom into them, and a vector graphic will look pretty the same. Nothing will change. That's why you can create. I can create something on a vector graphic, something of about 10 centimeters square, and I rescale it to 1 meter square. There will be nothing. There will be no problem. It will just be intact and remain the way it was. But if you zoom, if you try to rescale an image above its natural size, is going to make it blurry. What you will start seeing as squares. So softwares that handles things like that is Photoshop and others. Softwares that handle vector are CorelDRAW, Illustrator, and others. And softwares that handle text formatting, text manipulation is Adobe InDesign, Adobe PageMaker, and so on. There are so many, but I told you earlier on that these I've selected are the kings that every beginner should know. Yeah, so guys, that was it. If there's something I didn't explain properly, you can put your question in the comment section and I will respond to you. If there's maybe a suggestion or something you feel like to add so that others can learn, you can drop it in the comment section as well. And why not hit the subscription button? Why not like? Why not share? Why not hit the notification bell as well, so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So guys, that was it. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.